Now let's begin with the analysis of the equities market at the close of Wednesday. Nigerian equities market further extend market losses at the end of Wednesday's trading session. The NGS All Share Index dipped by 0.0% to 0.07% to close at 52,721.34 basis points against the 0.35% recorded at the end of the previous trading section. In naira terms, the NGX market capitalization records 19.02 billion naira loss. The total turnover volume the total volume traded declined by 53.77% to close at 611.97 million, which was valued at 7.47 or 7.43 billion naira and traded in about 5,000 deals at the close of Wednesday. First Bank of Nigeria Holdings was the most traded stock by volume with 153.34 million units, the most traded stock by value as well, which is put at 1.89 billion naira at the close of Wednesday. And if you look at on the sectorial movement now, performance was broadly positive as 6 NGX sector indices closed upward, while 8 closed in the red, while 4 other closed flat. The insurance index topped with about 0.81% gain against the pension index, which led the losers sector or the losers chart with about 0.37 or 32% at the close of trade in the market yesterday. So let's bring in an analyst to help us make sense of the market and, of course, what to expect today. Mr. Olaide Bano is a research analyst with Atlas Portfolio Limited. He joins us via the Zoom call now. Thank you for your time, Mr. Bano. We appreciate you. Give us a sense of what happened at the close of Wednesday. We've seen the market pulling back since the beginning of the week. What is responsible for this pullback?
Thank you very much for having me this morning. What has been happening over in this week so far has been the profit taking. If you notice, over the previous 5 weeks, there have been the positive uptrend, which investors have been gaining in their investment over. So this week so far, we believe is because of the profit taking in the markets. Because of the profit taken in the market, and which is normal, because normally most analysts are expecting that the profit taking should be around last week, this week, and subsequent weeks. So it's normal. If you can see the stocks that have been declining so far have been the stocks that gain in price over the previous weeks.
But if you look at some of these stocks that in the red at the close of yesterday. Let's go through them. For instance, at the top decliners at the close of Wednesday, we saw Academy Press, Berger, it's back again. Then name it, you have May and Baker and Wema Bank in the red yesterday, especially for Academy losing about 1 naira 36 kobo at the close of Wednesday. And you look at Berger as well, name it, losing about 1 naira 60 kobo. Now, how strong fundamentally are some of these stocks? Yes, there was profit taking yesterday, but why do you think that investor will have to consider their position in some of these stocks?
Majority for long-term investors are still taking position anyway for all these fundamental valuable stocks. But if you look at the stocks that declined yesterday, you talk about Academy, Berger Paint, Nement, Wema Bank. Though the decline in those ones, the significant presence of those companies in the market is very marginal compared to WAPCO that declined. So the WAPCO is a very highly capitalized stock, and the decline on WAPCO affected the market at large. And the other likes of the Transcorp, the First Bank, all these bellwether stocks, Access Bank, Honeyflower, that decline actually pulled the market down. But despite that, the long-term investors are still investing in the fundamental valuable stocks.
Oh, okay. Let's look at the top gainers for the day. You have MC Nichols there. We've seen MC Nichols come, topping the top gainers for the last three trading sections. What's going? What's the strength here? Why? What's the rally, or what is the factor driving the value of this stock in recent times?
Yeah, there have been no significant information around the Nichols gaining in price. But what I believe, okay, is pushing the price is because of the price resilience in that particular stock over time. So the little shift in price of that stocks, we definitely like, okay, investors will believe the price can still do better in the short term. So I believe after this particular rally, the reaction from investors will be okay is to take profits from there anyway again.
This particular stock seems to be playing well in the beverage sector, as it were. Does it have any competition at all? Is it facing any competition at all?
Yeah, it's definitely facing competitions. The likes of Unilever playing the beverage companies, the Cadbury playing the beverage companies, other like Nestle itself, and other ones listed in the NASD market. So in the market generally is facing competition, but that doesn't say okay, yes, because of the price increase. If you look at the financial report of the Q1 financial report of listed companies, they've increased in price on year basis, Q1 2022 compared to Q1 2021. So the majority have grew in profits, and because of, okay, despite the inflation rate, the difficulties of doing business in it, they've tried to push their cost on the consumers. So that's why many of them are still having positive growth. The positive increase in their profits. So it's normal, despite is definitely having competitions among its peers in the market.
Hospitality, led the gainers chart yesterday talking about Transcorp Hot there, hotel there with about 48 kobo. That's almost 10%, closing around 5 naira 36 kobo at the close of Wednesday. Talk to us about this particular, the strength and the rally this particular stock enjoy in the moment.
Previously, protest has declined in price because of the dividend declared last year. So this year, so the price has actually declined a little bit. But another thing to it is that, okay, if you're coming from 2022, 2021, when there's little of reopening of the economy, apart from 2022 when the badly hit by the COVID lockdown. So 2021, there's a reopening, there's positive growth in 2021. So 2022 is expected to be a positive, more of continued positive earnings from the company. And looking at 2022 going forward, this is election period. So there'll be more of political settlement around the location where this Transcorp hotel is located, the Abuja itself. So, politicians definitely be loading into the hotels. So it will be a positive reaction for Transcorp hotel for 2022.
So we expect
and going into 2023.
We expect a kind of party for the investors ahead of the 2023 election, given the background of what you've just said.
Yes, we expect a positive growth especially for Transcorp hotel for 2022.
Champion, also not doing badly. Looking at the gain, the stock gain about 3 naira 96 kobo to close. I beg your pardon, 26 kobo yesterday to close at 3 naira 96 kobo. From 3 naira 70 kobo it opened earlier in the day. Talk to us why you think investors are still rallying around this particular stock.
As a last week, Champion Brewery was still on full beat, that it rose to as high as above 4 naira. So as time this week, it has declined 2 consecutive days, Monday and Tuesdays. which declined. So investor will still believe, okay, starting get back to the 4 naira range before taking another set of profits from it again. So the price of champion brewery will be ranging around 3 naira 5 kobo and above 4 naira in the meantime.
So fundamentally, it's a good buy, you would say.
It's a good buy for the closing price of yesterday.
Oh, okay. Give us your outlook for the day, and I also want to get to hear your opinion, what you have to say concerning the inflation figure that has been released into the market. How the market reacting to it? Are there inflow of liquidity or fund from other segments of the market? How is the market reacting to that to those numbers, and your outlook for the market going forward?
Okay, for the inflation figure that came out on Monday, if you know, okay, immediately the inflation came out, the market has been declining itself. So investors have been very cautious about the figure itself. And another thing is that the MPC meeting is coming up next week. So it's likely the inflation figure is likely to force the MPC to push the NPR upward. I mean, to tighten up the NPR. So if the NPR is being tightened, it's definitely going to affect the market negatively, because there's this inverse relationship between the fixed income environment and the equity market. So that's one of the reasons why most investors are actually taking profits.
Where is the money? Where is the money likely to go now? You said the investors are cautious. Are they still within this position, taking that profit and holding it, or you think they are looking in other segments of the market?
And they are looking into other segments of the market, like the FX markets, because if you, as it's well now, the depreciation of naira is definitely affected, despite the CBN intervention in the fixed income environment. The dollar rate is still increasing in the market. So investors are still doing the short-term trading on the FX market and still having their positive gain from it. So by the time the MPC release their decision next week, so investors will be able to know, okay, which other ends to go to, if it be the fixed income market or the equity market.
I mean, just before we get to looking at the outlook, let's look at the sector that you think investors need to look at, and how to navigate it. It's a mixed week already. We're seeing it. This is the fourth trading day. But give us your take for some of the sectors you think investors need to look at. For instance, at the close of yesterday, we saw that insurance sector, it's doing quite well with about 0.81% gain against the pension index, which dipped by 0.32%. What's driving the insurance sector?
The insurance sector, I believe, is looking from their Q1 financial results. They've actually been doing quite well, and also their cheap, their price in the market is actually very cheap. Few of them is above 5 naira, where many of them are still within the range of 1 naira, 2 naira. So investors are taking a look, believe if they have a little amount of money they are having, they can have much volume from the insurance sector and still have a positive growth from it. So insurance sector, believe, okay, is going to be definitely do better in the long term.
So what you're saying is that investors are not looking in the short term, but to invest in the long time, for the long term.
Exactly.
But look, I mean, let's talk more about the reforms or recapitalization that is ongoing in that particular sector. How is it impacting on some of the listed stocks on the exchange?
Yeah, the recapitalization have been causing some kind of merger and acquisition among the insurance sector. So definitely for those acquiring one or the other one, we push the price up, and it will increase their profitability in the future term. So the capitalization issue is just based on if the company you are investing into can recapitalize itself, or by one way or the other do a kind of share reconstruction to have.
Hello, Mr. Banu.
Hello, sir. Can you hear me?
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so the recapitalization has been the positive result for the insurance sector at large. So I believe if this is done, it's going to increase the price of many of these stocks in the markets.
Mm. Now let's look at the outlook. Now you talk about the fact that investors perhaps will have to look forward to the MPC meeting next week.
Hello?
So what are the expectations in the market at the moment for that meeting?
Hello?
Hello, can you hear me, Mr. Banu? Hello, Mr. Banu, can you hear me?
Hello? Yeah, the last statement, please, sir.
Yes, I was asking you, you talk about the expectations. You were going to talk about the expectations of investors in the market ahead of the MPC
Hello?
meeting scheduled for next week. I'm not sure if you can, if Mr. Banu can hear me. Well, if you can,
I barely hear you.
okay, can you hear me now? Is it
I can
okay
hear you
now?
now.
All right.
I can hear you. I can hear you
I
now.
mean, you
Thank you.
were making reference to the fact that perhaps there are expectations in the market, ahead of the MPC meeting next week. What are some of those expectations for ahead, and the investors' body language ahead of that crucial meeting?
Irrespective of the decision of the MPC, that if either to tighten, to lose, or to retain the MPR, I believe the long-term investors they can still see the opportunity in the equity market. As we speak now, some stocks are actually doing quite well, with the likes of the MRS, the oil and gas sector. We have the Better Glass, we have the Morrison doing quite positive very well as we speak in the market now. So irrespective of and if you look at the financials of all majority of these companies, the banking sector, they have a positive Q1. I mean, the Zenith Bank, UBA, Hanko, and the MTN, Airtel, they have a positive Q1 also. So irrespective of the MPR decision, MPC decision on the MPR, is long-term investors are still going to take advantage of the prices of these stocks as we speak now. So the equity market is not just for, okay, yes, you want only to put the money in the market and go out at a time, but for you, the endurance and how much you can wait for you to have a profit in the market. So for the long-term investors, they can still take advantage of the prices we have now.
So okay, give us just about 2 hours or almost 3 hours into today's trading already. Yes, the market opened earlier 9:30, so that's the opening bell. I mean, the opening bell that rang at that time. But then, give us what you think will play out at the end of today. We've seen the bears rule the market since the beginning of the week. What is likely to play out today, and of course for the rest of the week?
Yeah, we still likely to have the bear to roll out at the end of the week, because there are some other stocks actually declining now. The less of the Nigerian Bureau is still declining. The Presco still declining. Guinness still on the decline end compared to where we have Nigeria Insurance, MRS, Better Glass, and Co growing as we speak. So at the end, I believe the market is still going to have a negative outlook. I mean, result at the end of the day. There's still be more profit taking.
All right, profit taking. Okay, I think we'll have to leave it there. Thank you so much, Olaide Banu is a research analyst with Atlas Portfolio Limited. Thank you for coming on Business Breakfast.
Thank you very much, sir.